What up? What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Rule of Two. Another special Monday, another special bit of news. Not really. This is a rumor, so we're going to talk about it. Mark, what's going on?
What's up, buddy?
What's up, baby?
Yeah, this is look, right now the truth is there's just not a lot of Star Wars news going on. There's not a lot of stuff to really dig into. So we're kind of playing the rumor game at this point, but hopefully within these rumors we can find something to chat about.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And today's bit of rumor is coming from, Mark?
It's coming from Star Wars Newsnet, which is usually a pretty reliable source for Star Wars scoops. Basically, they're saying, and I'll just read it here. According to the team at Kessel Run, the show is going to go back and forth between the height of the Clone Wars and at some point near the start of the dark times following Order 66 and the formation of the Galactic Empire. For the former time period, Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor will run into the likes of Commander Cody, Tamura Morrison, and Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen. All three characters will have the attire that they wear in the Clone Wars animated series. For the latter, it is not clear if Cody will be appearing, but Darth Vader will. The main narrative of the flashback sequences, if there is one, is not known, but the main narrative of the present of the series will feature the story element of the Empire hunting for Obi-Wan. This part is just my speculation, but perhaps we'll get an answer to what Darth Vader's Obi-Wan thought, blah, 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 blah. So basically what they're saying, which is like too good to be true, is that it's kind of going to be like Lost. Did you ever watch Lost?
No.
Okay, well, I'm sure a lot of folks in the chat have seen Lost. But maybe what they're trying to do is that the show has the present conflict in the timeline, which is Obi-Wan being hunted by the Empire and Darth Vader, and then a flashback to the Clone Wars between Obi-Wan and Anakin, actually played by Hayden Christensen, where maybe you start to see a little bit of Anakin's turn kind of slowly happening. Now, that would be incredible. It would be something that I think would be more I would look forward to that. If they announced that Hayden Christensen is playing Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader,
Yeah.
and that Tamura is playing Cody, and that you're flashing back between Order 66 and the present day of Obi-Wan being hunted, I will legitimately be more excited for this than I was the sequels.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, because it's going to the golden era, I'd say. Or maybe the silver era. The golden era is maybe original trilogy. I've been saying for a long time, we've been wanting to see a lot of stuff with the Clone Wars. I've been saying it for years. Maybe we're going to get some flashbacks with Anakin and Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars, and it's something that could be really interesting because there's so much that we could go into with that. A lot of people say, well, we got the Clone Wars show, but how cool would it be if we actually went back in time and we got to see some different memories from Obi-Wan and then jumped into the present where he's completely destroyed and distraught by Order 66 and what has happened and his new life in exile on Tatooine.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that the risk that you run with that kind of format is that the Anakin Vader character storyline is so much more interesting than an Obi-Wan storyline. That do you get, does it become the Anakin Darth Vader show, which I wouldn't be mad at all. I mean, I'd be all stoked for that.
That'd be great.
But knowing how they balance that, I think will be an interesting part. Now, look, this is a rumor. And to me, this sounds a little bit far off, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like all the rumors.
But this one sounds especially far off. It's like this would basically be Disney giving us everything we wanted.
Yeah.
An Obi-Wan show that has Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting together again during the Clone Wars, and Vader hunting Obi-Wan in the present. I mean, that's just too good to be true. So if I had to vote about whether the likelihood of this rumor, I'd say that currently I'm very skeptical about this rumor.
Okay. So am I.
What
But I mean,
What do you think?
I don't know, man. If Jon Favreau's behind it, like, and Dave Filoni, let's say, if Dave Filoni ever jumps on the Obi-Wan show, then I think there could be some incorporation there with, you know, the Clone Wars, because he made it.
Of
I
course.
couldn't see him not putting that in there. It's definitely something I want to see. I mean, there's no doubt. But whether they'll do it or not, well, I don't know. But I think they'd be foolish not to, and I think they still have time, you know? They got tons of time to still do things. I don't even think they've begun filming yet, have they?
No, not that I know of.
Yeah,
I
so
know that they stopped filming because they had pretty much threw the other story out, but I
yeah.
don't know if they started up again. I
Yeah, the
have
other
no
story,
idea.
which was allegedly just about not Obi-Wan at all.
Right.
Right. So,
It was about the search for Obi-Wan.
which is garbage. I'm so happy that they threw that out if that's the case. And if it's
Yeah.
not, then, well, I guess we'll see. But something else I think is really interesting that we could see for the Obi-Wan series is his battle internally, because he's always been this very collected man, this collected Jedi Master, and now he's just completely destroyed and broken. And it's like, how is he going to overcome that? And this is really when his Jedi training is going to come into play. Does he ever leave the planet? No, I don't think so. But does he commune with anyone? Does he commune with Qui-Gon? Does he commune with Yoda? Is there any sort of Force telepathy going on? Does he feel Vader through a tremor in the Force of some sorts? Does he wonder if Anakin is still alive? And all these different things that we could go to, and then they could also transition to Anakin in the suit and his side of the story and how he's really surviving through this whole thing. Because at this point he is surviving, and he's just more machine than man. He's not really alive anymore.
Yeah, and look, and these flashbacks could also be an interesting way to get Sam Jackson back into the mix. I
Mm-hmm.
know Sam Jackson's always wanted to get back into Star Wars. So Sam Jackson, I think, is a possibility. I mean, if you really create a new plot line that's focused in the Clone Wars timeline, I think, and it's a live action version of the Clone Wars, I think that that's actually pretty spectacular
That's
thing to
the
try and do.
coolest thing that they could do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would Mace come back? Just like as like a flashback thing?
Yeah, I mean, Mace is not dead during
Yeah.
the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So Mace can just be Mace.
Yeah. They could bring
You
everyone
know,
back
but
in that case.
I mean,
Ahsoka.
yeah, you can.
Dude,
You can bring,
we could have live action Ahsoka with Anakin and Obi-Wan.
right, and Yoda,
Yeah. And
and
Dooku.
all of them, and
And
Dooku,
Asajj. And Qui-Gon.
and Qui-Gon. So that's why I don't know, man. This rumor sounds like it just sounds too good to be true.
It's like the Mando trailer rumors.
Right, right.
Jesus. Uh,
But that's pretty much. I mean, that's literally it. You know that we have that.
yeah, we don't have much to go off of, folks.
The other thing that supposedly is confirmed, and I don't know, like unless I hear it from Disney, or that Disney confirmed the quote, I don't buy any of this stuff. But supposedly, Rosario Dawson's take on Ahsoka Tano for Mandalorian season 2 is going to be that she's going to be wearing the gray cloak that she had in the final scene of Clone Wars, and that she will in fact be wielding the blue lightsaber that Anakin made for her. I think Anakin made her two,
Yeah.
and I think in the final scene, Vader only finds one of them.
Yeah, she dropped one.
Yeah, she dropped one, I think, to let Vader know that she was still alive.
Yeah.
And she keeps the other
Well,
one, and that's the one
She
that
doesn't know it's
has in the
Vader
show.
yet at that point. She knows it's. She's like, oh, well, if Anakin sees this, he'll know that I'm still alive.
Right. Yeah, she leaves it for Anakin to find, but she keeps the other one, and I guess the other one is the one that they're going to be using in Mandalorian, which is interesting because in Rebels she uses a white one.
Yeah. So those white ones were reconstructed from, those crystals were refabricated, so to speak. They were purified from Sith Inquisitor lightsaber crystals.
But if she has the blue one, why is she using the white one in Rebels? Again, this is a rumor. We don't know if this is true.
Yeah,
if
it
she's
wouldn't
gonna
make
be using
sense.
The blue one.
What if it's Anakin's lightsaber?
What if she's using Anakin's
Yeah, like Luke's.
and and somehow
What if she's partnered up
no
with
no
Luke and
because
she, I don't know. Oh no, but it's lost at this point. Well, no, well, Maz Kanata has it.
Maz Kanata has it. We don't know
Yeah.
how she got it, but
I
but
don't know.
she's
It was
got
a
it.
really stupid storyline that I didn't like. They rewrote it in the comics. Luke went back to Bespin. He was searching for his lightsaber. The Ugnaughts in there were like helping him find it, and then all of a sudden he like comes to this realization where he's like, "Oh, a Jedi doesn't need his weapon. That lightsaber belonged to my father." And then he had like daddy issues because he just found out that Vader was his dad, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't want it."
I don't know, dude.
And then he went off and built a green one. I was like, okay.
And this is one of the new
Yeah, this is yeah, the new stuff.
the new canon.
Hmm. Yeah, the new canon. Yeah, not a fan of it. I made a video about it. I'm like, this is stupid. The hell's that?
Yeah.
It's dumb. But whatever. It is what it is. What do you guys think about that? You guys saw that video I made, right? Great chat, great topic, gentlemen. Thanks, dude. Do you think Marvel should attempt to search for a new Black Panther? That's still too sensitive of a topic for me to even discuss. Mad respect for Chadwick and what he was fighting during that time, and it's always very sad when young people die.
Rest in peace, Chadwick.
Rest in peace. If Anakin shows up in a flashback, I'll literally pass out. Yeah, me too. You gonna play Revenge of the Sith game on PS2? Yeah, if I can get the emulator or something like that. My one question is when the Mando trailer is coming out, it's so close to being released. Yeah, and this is where I'm sort of getting a little nervous, Mark. I don't know if you've heard anything. I know your sources are legit. Mando's supposed to come out next month, dude. Like, it's September tomorrow. We haven't gotten anything. Nothing. Like, what kind of marketing is that?
I don't know. I mean, look, it doesn't take a lot of marketing to get people excited about Mandalorian, right? So,
I guess.
it doesn't worry me. From what I've heard, the show is ready to go, and it's going to be on time.
Okay.
I believe that.
I hope. I'm very excited.
We're going to get a trailer sometime soon. I think so, but I think the first trailer is going to come the first game of Monday Night Football, which is only about 12, 13 days away, I think, is when the season starts. So I think for that first Monday Night Football game on ABC or ESPN, we'll get that first trailer. That's my opinion.
Maybe their new marketing strategy is like, okay, you know what? Let's do it a month out, and let's really capitalize on the hype. You know, one trailer, then another trailer every week. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, look, with Star Wars, unless you're announcing some project that nobody's ever going to watch or a director that's never going to get to work on a picture, they don't really make too many big announcements, you know? So,
yeah.
But I do think that Mando doesn't need a lot of marketing. It's already so popular that they could even, like, shadow drop it and it'll still do great.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they just haven't made the trailer. I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
I think they have it. I think they're just waiting for NFL football.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, the numbers on the basketball game haven't been great. You know, the ratings for the basketball games haven't been that spectacular. Last year, out of the 10 most watched television shows in all of America, 7 of them were NFL games. So I can see them going into, like, let's premiere it on the premiere of NFL football, where it's going to have huge numbers.
Yeah.
So where, ABC, if it's Monday Night Football, Disney and ABC ABC owned by Disney, I can see them, like, blocking out a special moment of time and playing the trailer then.
That makes sense. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, cool. And that's going to be what, middle of the month?
It's like early September.
Okay.
Right? It's like, when's the first game?
September
I think
10th?
it's like
11th?
I think it's like in 2 weeks.
Not 11th. Yeah. Okay. I have a question. It seems easy to turn a Jedi into a Sith with torture, for example, but what about the other way around? No, because once you taste the true power of the dark side, why would you ever go back? What character from the original trilogy or prequel trilogy would you like to see again? See get a solo TV series or film? Qui-Gon. Or Dooku. Or
Yeah.
Asajj, actually.
Yeah, I think for me it's Asajj.
Asajj Ventress, that would be cool. Hey Theory, so excited because of the new Galaxy's Edge Ahsoka Clone Wars sabers. Also can't wait for there's a new one? What? I have those. I didn't know there's a new one. Hopefully they're not just clunky. Can't wait for the new Mando 2 trailer. Yeah, me neither. Disney owns ESPN, so that wouldn't be a shocker. No. Yeah, it does make sense. I guess. Mark Fernandez?
Yo, I'm here, buddy. It's just there's just not a lot going on, you know. Like,
Nah.
um,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah, we're just hanging out with chat right
yeah,
now.
it was hanging out with the chat. September 12th is the first Monday night game, says Mike Hill.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Did you see Cobra Kai yet?
I mean, I've seen the first 2 seasons.
Oh yeah, okay. Now that it's on Netflix, everyone hopefully is seeing it. Shout out
Yeah,
to
it's
my
cool.
Cobra Kai Theory channel.
Yeah, we had an interview on Collider with Zapka a few
Yeah.
days ago.
Yeah. I know. That's so cool. I want to get him. I want to get him on my show. What the hell?
Yeah, somebody says we know that Mark really wants to talk about the Cassian Andor series.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that? Jesus.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Cassian Andor series. Or like, didn't they announce another series?
Yeah, they announced a whole bunch. Taika Waititi, Russian Doll.
Right, Taika Waititi was supposed to direct the movie, though, right?
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
comes out before or after the Rian Johnson trilogy.
Is that still happening?
I mean, according to, they haven't said it's not happening. The unnamed Rian Johnson trilogy.
Jesus, dude. You know what? He could probably make a good Star Wars film if it had nothing to do with characters we already know about. So if he just makes
I think so.
if he makes up everything from scratch, yeah, I mean, he'd probably do fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Just don't touch anything that's ever been created by George Lucas and you'll be okay.
Somebody's asking, do I think Hayden would want to come back? Look, I think Hayden Christensen hasn't worked in a while, and I think that he would love to come back if the money is right and the part is something that he feels is consistent with what George wants for the character. I think he would love to come back.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think he's just going to shill out for any you know what? I'm pissed that Mark Hamill didn't get to know the full story right away. That was my issue.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have signed. I really don't.
I think Mark Hamill would have signed anyway because the money was probably so big. Like, he probably got paid so well for that. And he probably even got points on the back end. Like, Mark Hamill, I'm sure, did very, very, very well. That he did so well that he could have gone out there in a tutu and danced in Jabba's palace, and he would have been fine with it.
Jesus.
Yeah. When the money gets that high, you literally will dance in a tutu in Jabba's palace. And then just be grumpy about it in interviews, you know? You can be grumpy all you want off camera, but when the lights are rolling and Rian Johnson says action, you're dancing in a tutu in Jabba's palace. And you're
Jesus,
happy to do it. Yeah,
I
you're
don't
happy
think
to do
so. I don't. I mean, you know way more about this stuff than I do, but damn, I feel like if he
think
knew
so.
about it, like I don't think he'd go for
I mean,
it.
he
man.
knew about it because when he read the script for Force Awakens, he was like, "Oh my god!
Yeah.
I don't show up to the final scene.
Yeah,
What's going on?"
I remember
here?
that, but he had to
didn't
sign
walk
on.
out.
He had to sign on for all three, didn't he? Like, it's not like he could just. And then when the Last Jedi came around, it's not like, well, I'm out. It's like, no, you signed a contract. You got to do this.
I mean, look, I'm sure the money was. I'm telling you, I think the money was good enough that he would have danced in the tutu. You know, I think his business obligations aside, I think he's got some personal feedback to what they did with the character, but it definitely wasn't nearly enough for him to not want to take the money. You know, because if you squint, you could say, "Oh, Luke was done right." You know, like certain people believe Luke's arc was great.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
there's
so
tons of them. Yeah.
which is fine. So he probably thought, "Well, you know, what are you gonna do? It's
Yeah.
not what I would have done, but hey, I mean, like, if you had to guess, how much do you think he got paid for the sequels?
For
I'm
all
gonna,
of all of them?
yeah,
30
I'm
million?
gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up and see if it's out there.
30 mil?
Um,
But he was successful before that. I mean, he didn't. Yeah, he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that would sell out for money. I don't think he cares. You know, he was the Joker in Batman. Like he was. I'm
yeah,
sure
but
he's
he was a
getting
Joker in a
royalties for Star
Batman
Wars. Like he's
cartoon.
yeah, and it was huge, man. I don't think he gives a crap about that. I think he's just. I think he got blindsided. I think they're like,
So,
we're gonna
so
make your character
according,
awesome, but we.
so according to Variety, Mark Hamill got $18 million to play in the sequels. I don't know if that's for all three or just for one. I'm not sure. It's not clear here. No, wait a minute. The 18 was for let's see here. Well, the 18 is for episode 9.
He wasn't even in it.
Yeah, he's barely in it.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, how would they know how much money he makes?
I have no idea. I mean, I can't really take this too seriously.
Yeah.
Daisy Ridley supposedly got $300,000 for Force Awakens.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm sure she got like a few mil for episode 9. Right. I'd hope. Anyways, my point is, I don't know, man. I feel like they probably be like, hey, yeah, we're gonna make Star Wars and we're gonna continue George Lucas's legacy. Same crap they told us, dude. Same crap they told George Lucas. Same crap. Just same crap. Sign this. We're gonna make Luke awesome. Oh no, you don't have the Force anymore. You don't have your lightsaber. You ran away to this planet.
Yeah.
You don't do anything. Here, have some green teat milk.
Yeah, which actually looked green instead of blue, right?
Yeah, it was green. Yeah, that's why Galaxy's Edge has two different colors. They taste different.
Okay.
Yeah, they taste different. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and like, what's the likelihood that the same animal in a planet 5 galaxies away or whatever it is will have the same kind of milk? You know. Anyway, whatever. It's
Wow.
look. This is what we're resorted to. We're talking about milk. We're talking about
Teat milk. Yeah, Star Wars teat milk.
We're talking about teat milk.
Jesus, dude. Super dry. Let's give us something here. We need Anakin storming the Jedi Temple flashbacks. Yeah, we need Mark to make a fan film about that.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. I'm going to shoot something in the next few weeks. That's going to be a little bit of a Star Wars thing. It's going to be more of a comedy thing. But when I put it out, we'll definitely chat about it here.
Can't wait. Are we? No, I guess I'll ask you off camera. Can't talk about that yet.
Yeah.
How many Vader movies will you make? Probably 2 more. 1 to 2 more, and we'll shoot 2 and 3 all at once. I heard and seen on YouTube that Rosario Dawson and other actors were filming something just for the trailer a few weeks ago. That's only for the trailer. Don't take my words for it, Mark, in theory. Okay. All right, Callista.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. We'd love to see
I mean,
something, man.
it's so hard to like sort through the rumors and the BS and find the truth when it comes to Star Wars recently. There's like all of these, there's all these rumors flying around. There's all these stories, all these quotes from people and all this crap, and it's just like, I think it's just people trying to get clicks, to be honest with you, man. I don't think any of it is actually.
Look, here's the thing, man. Like, I had a lot when the sequels were coming out and they were at their peak. When The Last Jedi was just coming out, I had a lot of people from the inside. I had sources that were telling me so many different things. Some of them they came true, some of them didn't. And the thing is, if in 2020, if you're not wearing a mask and disguising your voice with these rumors and leaks, you're not very credible. So,
Right.
I'm just gonna say that leaks have been around since the dawn of time.
Oh, somebody's asking about your favorite cheese again.
Fuck. Oh,
Like,
Jesus.
I'm more interested to know why that matters to the
Every
to the
day,
fan.
every stream. Jesus.
But what is it with cheese? Did you say something about cheese or something?
Not
How
that I
did it start
recall.
with cheese?
Not that I
Is
recall.
it a joke from a game?
I
Is
don't
it a
think so.
meme?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, man.
Is it something you said when you were playing Fall Guys or something? Or...
No, not at all. Shout out to the gaming channel, Theories Arcade Games. My son made a Disney sequel trilogy in the living room. Context, Charlotte and I are potty training Thorin. That's a cool name. I went to the bathroom quick, came back, and sequel trilogy was smeared everywhere. I don't know.
What? What did you just say, dude?
Goddamn sequel. Did you not hear that? So Wesley Snipes sends a super chat and he says, "My son made a Disney sequel trilogy in the living room."
I get it.
Context, they're potty training his son. He went to the bathroom really quick, came back, and the sequel trilogy was smeared all over his walls. Damn.
That's funny but dark.
It is, yeah.
Wesley.
Yeah. I hope everything got cleaned up. Hi, Theory. What would you do if you owned Star Wars? That's a loaded question. I'll probably make a video out of it. Just because it would be fun. What would you do if you owned Star Wars, Mark?
If I owned Star Wars, what I would do is, my first thing that I would do is bring George Lucas back in a formal role. Whatever he would want, but it would have to be formal, and there would have to be accountability to Lucas.
What if he doesn't want
That's
to come
the
back?
first thing. If he doesn't want to come back, then I'm sure that I could talk him into at least blessing that we redo his trilogy. Yeah, in some fashion. Actually, the first thing that I would do if I truly owned Star Wars is that I would probably read Michael Arndt's and George Lucas's script for Episode 7. That's the first thing that I would do. Then after I read that, the next thing I would do is find a way to formalize Lucas's involvement in the franchise, whether that's an advisory role, or whether that's him telling me who should run it, or him laying out a roadmap of some kind of where the story was going. But my first order of business would be to exhaust all options in bringing Lucas back into the franchise. That would be number one.
Yeah, I agree.
Number two would be to probably cancel the Cassian Andor series.
I actually want to see it. I'm actually down for it. I just know we're going to get tons of Vader.
Yeah, you want to see it because you think we're going to get tons of Vader.
Yeah.
So look, it seems like the Obi-Wan series is going to give us a lot of Vader.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess the more Vader, the better,
The
right?
more Vader, the better, man. Yeah, I mean, don't saturate him. I mean, there's ways of doing it where it can be cool and good and meaningful. You know, don't just like...
And I would probably also make all the new canon alternate like World Between Worlds canon and just completely obliterate it as its own thing and call it the.
What do you mean? You'd make the world like the time travel thing. You'd make that like Legends.
I'd make everything from. Um, I'd make everything from Rebels to um, Rise of Skywalker, all the comics, and all the books, and all the movies, including Rogue One, um, and I would make all that new canon or fake canon or call it something, like otherworldly legend
Right.
or something. I would put that in a little box, okay, and then I would put it off to the side and let it live on its own. And then I would consider keeping Clone Wars Season 7 as continuing canon.
Right.
And then picking up from there.
Okay.
And I would turn all of the EU back into EU and not Legends, because there's a difference between extended universe and Legends.
Yep.
I think so. I'd rename all that stuff EU, and I would get rid of all the new stuff. Well, not get rid of, but decanonize all the new stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe only maintain Season 7 of Clone Wars.
You decanonize the new Vader comics?
Probably, yes, just to be consistent.
Okay.
Just to be consistent with it.
Okay. True.
I mean, look, that's extreme, but I own it, right? So what are you going to do?
Okay, what about besides Galaxy's Edge and some EU books, comics, the sequel trilogy can be non-canon. In my mind, Jedi is still the end. Mando is a great epilogue. Yeah, I agree with that. I think.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. I'd probably keep Mando.
Yeah.
I'd ask George, do you want there to be another, creature of Yoda's species? Because Lucas was very sensitive about that.
Yeah.
But I think he eventually, I guess, gave in or kind of grew to like it. So I would get his opinion on it and let him make the call.
Okay.
I mean, look, this is some deep role playing that
I know.
Is so.
This is awesome. We could just make a rule of two just on this, and go back and forth on the stuff we'd change or whatever as fans.
Yeah, like a board meeting.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Well, I want to save that for a video.
Oh, you made me spill the beans.
You're not gonna make a video about it. I want to make a video about it.
All right, fine.
Okay, first of all, there's tons of things I would do. I would appoint Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni as the presidents of Lucasfilm. I'm the owner. Like I own it. What I say goes, but they can be the presidents, right? You guys, like, I can take a weekend off to Barbados or whatever, and you guys will run it. You'll be fine. You'll be calling the shots. But if I come back and you're doing something I don't like, we're changing it, which would never happen, right? But yeah, man, I would immediately call up Sam Jackson and be like, hey, we're gonna do a movie on, I would say, something to do with you. I don't care what it is.
I think that would be great.
We just need Sam Jackson. Yeah. Whether it's him returning or being alive or his story after, whatever, sure. Something. Yeah. Or him when he was young, how he became something. I'd want a Dooku movie or series. I'd want a Young Palpatine series. I would make the entire Darth Plagueis book into a trilogy. If you could stretch it out that far, or I'd just make it into one movie. I think you could make it into two because, there's a lot where Palpatine's a young boy. Or maybe even a show. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan would get their own show or movie. Master and Apprentice, the novel, which they did a great job on.
Yeah, but isn't that the novel that Asajj dies?
No.
Oh, that's Dark Disciple.
Yeah.
Dark Disciple, got it.
Yeah. I'd continue the Clone Wars. So we'd just keep going all the way until it runs into Rebels. And then
Is Rebel still canon?
Yeah, I know a lot of people love it. So, yeah, sure. It's canon.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I would do? I would make an animated trilogy for Disney Plus of the Thrawn trilogy. I would take
Yeah.
Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and Last Command, and turn those all into an animated series using the likenesses of Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, um, and have them, with the exception of Carrie, in which I would use her daughter,
Hmm.
have them all voice the parts, and I would make it a nice animated series
That'd be
of
cool.
the Thrawn trilogy, because the Thrawn trilogy picks up pretty much after Episode 6, and it's a continuation to the story that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that one I've never read. I haven't read any of the new Thrawn books,
Yeah, they sent it
but
to
I'm
me. It's cool, man. I like it so far. I haven't finished
but
it yet.
that's a
I've been
prequel though, right?
having too
That's a
much going on.
prequel.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, it's just like um, that narrative that happens after Return of the Jedi. I think with Jedi Master Saboeth, and all that stuff, with with oh, the Emperor's Hand. What's her name again?
Mara Jade.
With Mara Jade and all that storyline. I'd want to see it fleshed out. It's a really really cool
I'd want
story.
to see that too, but I'd say after calling up Sam, I'd call up Mark Hamill and be like, Mark, all right, you coming in for some de-aging, deepfake action where we're gonna take your face from Return of the Jedi and we're gonna do a trilogy right after Return of the Jedi, literally picking up moments after the party on the forest moon of Endor with the Ewoks and everyone else, and we're gonna continue the story all the way up to George's Episode 7.
So you would just do the rebuilding of the Jedi Order and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
And
that's
then Leia's
that's a little bit
kid
about
and
what the Thrawn trilogy is kind of about. It's about the early days of that.
mm,
Um, with the Solo kids and stuff. So, um, yeah. Point is I think we both, even though we might do it a little differently, we both want to see a genuine continuation to the Luke Skywalker story.
yeah, absolutely. Well, it's something we don't know at all, and we didn't get to see Luke. And he said even himself, Mark Hamill said himself, he's like, oh, I expected to have Force lightning coming out of my ears at this point. And one day
Right.
I'm gonna get down to the bottom of what red Force lightning is. One day, Mark.
What
One day.
re- Remind me, where did the red Force lightning come from?
The sun.
No, no, but like where does it show up in the
The
in
sun.
the
The sun. The sun, like from Mortis.
oh, the son of Mortis.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Got it.
Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's no meaning for it. Maybe it doesn't. Nothing happens. 1,400 of you here. Let's try to get over 1,000 likes, guys. Appreciate you joining the podcast as always. This podcast has gotten pretty popular, so thanks for that. We would be inclined to eventually turn these into just voice stuff as well. Mark, what do you think about that? Like Spotify?
Voice?
Yeah, like an actual
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, 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 yeah. We're gonna do that soon. It's just right now there's just nothing going on.
Yeah,
So we're just hanging out with you guys, chatting, answering your questions,
yeah,
having a chat, just
yeah,
hanging out once a week. But
I've definitely
you
gotten a
know,
lot of requests for that, being like, oh, like I have night shifts and the data of watching YouTube eats up my phone. I'd love to have all your videos turned into podcasts as well. I'm like, oh, well, maybe
yeah, we're
I'll
gonna do
talk to
that
Mark
soon.
about it.
Yeah, we're gonna do that soon. We're gonna do that soon. Put it
Yeah.
on Spotify and
Well,
sound.
originally I was approached by a company and they took all my videos and they turned them into, not all of them, a lot of them, they turned them into Spotify video, sound files, podcasts. And it grew to be, I think it was top 100 in the world in terms of podcasts.
Hmm.
And then the guys just disappeared. So we can take over.
Yeah, yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Hey guys, you ever seen the Star Wars movie where the Sith win at the end and the movie ends there, similar to Marvel's Infinity War? Would you ever want to see a movie? Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's like The Empire Strikes Back. If you think about it, if Mace wasn't a jerk to Anakin, Vader wouldn't have been created. Yes and no. Yeah, I think so. I think if he was more lenient and was like, all right, you want to see the restricted section? Okay, I'll show you. You have the opportunity to change the sequels, but you have to keep the same characters. What would you do differently?
We've gone over this. At least I have so many times.
Colin
Like
Trevorrow's.
my story is the story of um, the Republic is big and powerful.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren has a almost a terrorist like organization, and he's doing terrorist attacks on the Republic to
Yeah.
try to overthrow the Republic.
Yeah.
So it's basically like reversed.
The
It's like
opposite.
now they're the big guys, and Kylo and the dark side are the little guys, and they're trying to overthrow the Republic. Similar to the prequels in a way, but like more following the thread of Leia and Luke are in charge of the galaxy. Leia has constant, condescension because her dad was Vader and her son is Kylo.
Yeah.
So nobody really trusts her. So she starts to lose the support of the people,
Yeah.
and turn it into more something like that. Luke doesn't hide. He is the Grand Master of the Jedi Academy. He did lose Kylo to the dark side, and now Leia is like, "You got to help me bring him back."
Yeah.
We gotta either bring him back or take him out. It's one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be cool.
So, and I think that would have been a much more interesting story than what we got, and it would have used the exact same cast. And you turn Rey into their daughter, right? So Rey and Kylo are twins, just like in the Thrawn books. And you can still have the exact same Rey story, but at least now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because she's a Skywalker and she's been trained since she was a little girl.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be cool. Just read a theory that Baby Yoda was created at the same time as Anakin to create balance in the Force. Well, no, Anakin was created to create balance in the Force. So I don't buy that theory. If they did that wouldn't make sense. But yeah, he was born pretty much around the same time as Anakin. Would you introduce the Yuzon Vong and Lady Lumia? Yeah, because I want to see a light whip. And the Yuzon Vong were really cool. So I want to see those guys too. I get the consistency of those comics are good. You guys read the new Star Wars comics like just Star Wars? Also, how goes the writing fanfic? What don't you like about Rebels besides the sabers? I haven't finished Rebels, so I can't say anything yet. I'm still on season 2, and it's just, I don't know. It's okay. It's kind of
Season 1 and 2 are tough.
Yeah.
Season 1 and 2 are tough. Season 3 is where it starts picking up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's only 4 seasons, right? I think something like that.
I think there's 5, but I'm not sure. I'm not 100%
that's
sure.
good. There's more. Any chance of Collins returning? Yeah. Well, eventually, once Collider Studio is fully operational from COVID.
Oh, Collins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Im. Common Villain says, for the next Star Wars RPG, would you want to see Fallen... What would you want to see? Fallen Order was great, but too short. Yeah, I mean, well, they're going to make the second one now, so probably going to get Cal hunting down Vader or something along those lines.
Yeah. Me and Jeremy Johns actually had that discussion this weekend about what we thought about Fallen Order.
Yeah.
And Jeremy likes it a lot more than I did. I really enjoyed the story. I thought the story was extremely well done, with the Night Sister, with that old Jedi who turns to the dark side and is guarding the tombs of Dathomir.
Yeah.
I thought there was some really awesome stuff with the story. I thought the gameplay was numbingly repetitive. I thought that the difficulty was cool. If you really wanted to get difficult, the game is very difficult.
Hmm.
I just thought it was so repetitive, and there was such little saber on saber fights. It's mostly fighting stormtroopers and animals, and the
The fat lizard
uh,
frog.
yeah, but also the environmental puzzles. It was just so much of that that literally made me numb, and I was just kind of going through the paces just to watch the next cutscene.
Hmm.
So I thought the story was great, but I really want them to make the gameplay a little bit more like Ghost of Tsushima or Red Dead, Redemption,
Yeah.
like just a little bit more varied in how you can approach things.
True. Yeah, it
You
was
know,
it was
because
very clone-like.
yeah, it's very similar to like the Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same exact thing over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And the only thing that really keeps you there is the franchise is awesome,
Oh, yeah.
the graphics are beautiful, and the story is great. And all those elements I think are very strong. But I think one of the big reasons why I've been playing so much Call of Duty is that the gameplay itself is just so diverse and refined. Um, Same thing with Red Dead Redemption. I thought Red Dead also did an incredible job with that. And Ghost, I haven't played through Ghost or anything, but Ghost seems like you can approach a scenario in so many different ways.
100%. Yeah.
So it lets you role play your character.
However you want. You want to be stealthy. You want to be just brash. You want to go up top of building and jump down and do it. You want to shoot like the arrows into the beehive or whatever and release it that way. It's just like it's endless. The game is endless. Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima is probably the best example. Like the game should be a little bit more like that. That's what I want for the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was very point and shoot, so to speak, with Fallen Order. It's like, okay, you go beat the puzzle, you go here, slash, 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 force power, force pull, the door closed, force freeze, the fan, go through the fan, climb the gate.
Slide down the thing.
Slide down the thing, snowboard, and love the game. Don't get me wrong, it was awesome. Story was really awesome, but yeah, no, I feel what you mean with the gameplay.
Yeah,
very repetitive.
Where Ghost is very
versatile.
Yeah, it's very versatile.
Yeah,
and so is Red Dead.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Well, yeah. Red Dead is not. You can't touch Red Dead.
You can't touch Red Dead. So you're right. It's not a fair. Red Dead is not a fair comparison.
Yeah.
But the Ghost of Tsushima, that's the right comparison.
Yes.
Yeah. COD is a little different because COD is essentially a first-person shooter, so you're always shooting.
Yeah.
So it's just it's
but
taking
still,
that
even with COD,
mechanic.
it is always different every time you play online. There's never one time where everything's the same.
Right.
But also,
it's so open. It's so open.
Yeah, and it's
with
multiplayer and
Verdansk. Yeah, it's multiplayer. So COD is not a fair comparison. Yeah. That's another world.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima is the right.
I would say
comparable.
So. Yeah. And also, I want it to be more open world. I kind of felt limited on the planets that I'd go to because it was just like this one little section of the planet that you can be in, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then you can fly technically to some of the other planets once you've unlocked them, but there's zero reason for it. The only reason is if you want to get the double-bladed lightsaber a little bit early.
Yeah.
Like that's the only advantage.
Yeah.
To exploring.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanos has none of the stones. He's dead. If you would have to add Rex and Ahsoka into Revenge of the Sith, what would their roles be in the story? Well, basically just what we saw in Clone Wars, I guess. I mean, that's a loaded question for a...
Hold on, what's the question again?
1 minute answer. If you were to put Rex and Ahsoka in Revenge of the Sith, how would you do it? Well, you can't, because they weren't anywhere near there.
Yeah.
You can't, because then you'd have to change the Clone Wars. I mean, I would love to have had Ahsoka talk to Anakin over the phone, over Holo. But Mace was like, "Oh, you just missed him," or whatever, and so it's kind of cool how they intertwine that. That's you put the puzzle pieces together and you get a one full picture. It's great.
I'm seeing I'm seeing a lot of comments about Star Wars Squadrons. I gotta say that I am actually very excited about that. I hope I don't get seasick playing it because I want to be playing it inside VR. But I am pretty pumped about Squadrons
Mm.
to give me that feeling of actually being inside the cockpit of a TIE fighter, a TIE Advanced, an Interceptor, X Wing, A Wing, B Wing, all that stuff. I'm pretty pumped about that.
Cool.
I mean, I hope that the multiplayer is fun and that the game mechanics are fun. But I'm pretty pumped about that. If it's anything like Eve Valkyrie on Oculus and Steam, I'm going to be pretty pumped.
Can you use it on the Quest?
Not the Quest, the Rift.
Hmm.
You can use it with the Quest link, which I know you haven't been able to get to work, but yeah, on the Quest link you can use it.
Yeah, I don't really know much about Squadrons. I saw the trailers. That was it. Who would win, Starkiller clone versus Thanos? Starkiller, man. We got the Force. I mean, you can just control people. What do you think about an animated series revolving around Obi-Wan training Anakin right after the Phantom Menace? Yeah, that'd be a great story arc. There's about 10 years there that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Just from the comics, which would be cool.
See, like in my Star Wars, if you worked for me, I would greenlight that series.
Yeah.
That gets greenlit.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that would get greenlit. And I'd create George Lucas land where we get, well, okay, I'd create Star Wars land, but I'd create it around, the originals and prequels.
Oh, look, Kessel Run Transmissions on the Super Chat.
Who's that?
Those are the folks that came up with that theory that the whole episode is based on. What's up, guys? Welcome to the chat. Thank you for coming here and supporting us. We appreciate it.
What do you mean? Oh. Oh, right. Okay. Hey, guys.
So now that you're in the chat, where did you hear the scoop from? Because it sounds all too good to be true.
Sounds too good to be true, man.
Yeah.
My friend Andy Brown wrote and directed a new Star Wars fan film, Bucketheads. Have you checked it out? Made in Vancouver. I have checked it out. It's like 2 years old, isn't it? Yeah, it was great.
It's a cool name.
Yeah, it was
Cool
great.
name,
It was a
Buckethead.
great fan film. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Darth Bane movie trilogy. Thoughts?
I'm in. I've read the first book of Darth Bane, and I got to tell you, I really liked it. I'm usually a little bit skeptical on Star Wars books. Like, it takes a really good book to keep me in there reading a whole friggin' novel. But the first Darth Bane book is the only one I've read all the way through. I thought was very good.
Do you believe? Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'm just saying that I think it's very worthy of like adapting. And look, if that's one philosophy that I would want to change in Star Wars. Currently, the philosophy is that all this legacy of content that was part of the extended universe is not worthy of being adapted to film.
Mhm.
That's the mentality.
Mhm.
I would change that mentality by putting the Thrawn trilogy into production in some fashion, and I believe the Darth Bane trilogy as well.
Yeah, what did we say? Henry Cavill as Darth Bane or something? Or Tom Hardy?
I think Cavill was the one that. No, Tom Hardy is my choice.
Tom Hardy, okay.
Tom Hardy.
I have to drop a chat. I had to drop a super chat. What in the world do mean COD is the repetitive game? What in the world do you mean COD is the most repetitive game ever? It's not.
We didn't say that.
Yeah, we didn't say that. We literally said the opposite of that.
I think COD is one of the. I think this new one, in my opinion, Call of Duty Warzone, is one of my top 5 favorite games of all time.
Yeah, I know you love that game. My friend Andy. Okay, we read that one. Darth Bane movie trilogy. Do you believe the Jedi are to blame for Anakin's fall to the dark side? Yeah. 100%. 100%. The Jedi they couldn't have made it any more difficult for him. They always put him down. They always controlled him. They always held him back, and they always made him feel like he was just nothing. when he was always surpassing even the masters, and it was just annoying. You know, he kept telling them about his mother. He kept telling them about these visions he has. He went to talk to Yoda about it. Yoda didn't do anything. He's like, just let go of everything you fear to lose. It's like, oh, thanks, dude. Appreciate it, man. That's really going to help me out. It's like, what the hell?
All right, so look, I got to address this because I see comments about it. COD is repetitive in the same way that basketball is repetitive. It's the same basic rule set to a lot of the game modes, but the fact that it's multiplayer makes it completely unpredictable. So Theory was right that you can't compare something like Fallen Order, which is a single-player experience, to something as broad and evolved as COD is, because COD is basically an online sport that's played by multiple people at the same time. It's no longer really a single player thing. It's almost exclusively a multiplayer thing.
Yeah, no one really cares much about the single player. I mean, it's cool, but
yeah, the single player is actually awesome. But yeah, COD is not really repetitive because you have the variables of the multiplayer which make it completely unpredictable. So anyway, just to
set the record straight.
Yeah, set the record straight there.
Well, it's usually people who say that who haven't like fully played COD beyond just like shooting and dying. It's like there's so much more to it. It's like, okay, where do I plant this bomb? How do I take this person? How do I do? Am I going to snipe this time, or am I going to use an SMG or an LMG, or what am I marksman?
Yeah,
like, it's
a sport. COD is a sport.
It's an online, it's an online thing.
It's an online sport.
Hey guys, I haven't seen anyone on YouTube address the fact that Rosario Dawson, Tamura Morrison, and Katie Sackhoff are all listed on IMDb cast for Mando. Well, we talked about that a long time ago that they were reportedly cast, but also IMDb can be faked, so it's like Wikipedia.
But we have discussed it. We have discussed it.
Yeah, tons of times. Thank you, Jake. What happens if Ahsoka and Luke meet? That'd be awesome. I think
that would be great.
I feel like Ahsoka could learn tons from Luke, and Luke could learn tons from her.
See, this is like I guess my biggest unfulfilled fantasy in Star Wars is not seeing the Luke Skywalker storyline carried through past Return of the Jedi, because I really wanted to see what happened to Luke.
Yep.
The closest thing we got to that, in my opinion, is the Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn in the 90s, and then you also had Dark Empire by Dark Horse Comics. I think those two things, like when I think of Luke after Return of the Jedi, those are the two things that I sort of lean on.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I'm sad that we didn't get a story that rivals those two for the actual succession of Skywalker. And then the other thing is seeing Anakin in all his glory hunting the Jedi. Because in A New Hope, it was all about, Darth Vader hunted the Jedi and killed all the Jedi.
Yeah.
And they made it seem like it was a methodical extermination. We never really got to see that methodical extermination that was brought forth by the great Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Those two things are my biggest unfulfilled desires inside Star Wars.
I agree with that. Yeah. Especially in the temple, I would have loved to, not even after, the fact that he donned the suit, but like even in the temple during Order 66, I would have loved to have seen him like we did in the game, in those cutscenes where Anakin's just like taking out everybody. How he kills Sindralig and fights Mace Windu. Well, that was an alternate time. Never mind. But yeah, stuff like that. How would you make Dash Rendar fully canon?
Dash Rendar from the video game?
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about it.
I don't know.
To be honest.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd make him canon.
I'm not as big on the... I'm more of a Kyle Katarn guy than I am a Dash Rendar guy.
Yeah. JK2, baby. Hey, guys.
Oh, yeah.
That scoop about Cody and Anakin came from us, as you guys mentioned. Our first scoop was Bad Batch, and we are certain on this one.
Oh, wow. We are certain on this one. First of all, I love that.
Yeah.
If you guys are certain on this one, you've made my month.
Yeah.
That would be the best news that I've gotten all month.
Yeah.
And I've gotten some pretty good news this month.
I don't know if it's the best news you've gotten, but
No, look, and you know I've gotten good news this month.
yeah, yeah.
That would be the best news I've gotten all month, and I will always credit you guys at Kessel Run Transmissions for bringing me that news. If you're saying that that's right, that Anakin Skywalker will be seen in both flashbacks and as Darth Vader in the present timeline, that would make the Obi-Wan show my most anticipated piece of media since Revenge of the Sith, probably.
Careful we must be. The rumors cloud everything.
I mean, think about it, though, dude. Can you imagine if that's true?
I've been saying that for a long time, man. It's just like...
You've been saying what? That Anakin's going to be part of it?
Yeah. It's documented in all my videos, like where I've talked about it. Like, oh, we could get flashbacks. What could happen in the Obi-Wan? We could get flashbacks of Anakin in Clone Wars. We could get flashbacks of Obi-Wan and Anakin. We could get flashbacks of Anakin in the Clone Wars. We could get Obi-Wan and Anakin. We can get Anakin as Darth Vader, turning into Darth Vader, dealing with his new life. It's like, if this actually comes true, then...
Then you're saying that Disney ripped you off.
No. They got all the ideas, man.
God.
I wouldn't... Well, it's kind of funny, though. I did make a fan fiction about Episode 9 2 years before it came out, and then pretty much everything I wrote in there kind of came true, which was weird.
Well, look, man, I do like to see our community strong, so shout out to the Kessel Run guys. Thank you for coming on the show and supporting.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. So shout out.
Shout out, guys. I hope it comes true. In 2-3 years' time, when it comes out, I'm gonna remember you. All right, I won't forget.
Yeah. We'll remember you.
We'll know.
We'll remember you.
We'll know.
We'll bring you on the show. We can all get on the show and chat.
What if they're wrong?
If they're wrong, I'm gonna be heartbroken.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pissed.
Because I love look. You know how I feel about Hayden,
Yeah.
and like in Celebration in Orlando, I think I've told this story 20 times on this show, but in Celebration in Orlando, Disney invited all of us from the press to go to the Disney Hollywood Studio Park and just hang out. And it was just us. It was just like press people. It was like a grad night for like the press at Disney. And it was all like Star Wars stuff. And it was, it was a blast. And I was getting into this one roller coaster. It's like a rock and roll roller coaster or something. I forget what it's called.
Cool.
And we were all waiting in line. And you know how like when you're waiting in line, you can see the cars coming that go to the next, right? So a car jumps in front of us that's about to go on the ride. And sitting in the car was Hayden Christensen.
No way. You didn't tell me this.
I didn't tell you this?
No.
Oh, dude, this is one of the most famous Collider stories inside Collider, because when I saw Hayden, I lost my shit. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And then everybody got so excited that everybody started screaming. And Hayden looked at us like, holy shit. And I could see that he was happy, that we were happy to see him, you know, and like so supportive. So he like waved at us. I think Perry Nemiroff actually has a picture of it, of me screaming and Hayden in the little car. And Hayden waved at us and then just, went off on his little ride,
Make sure we're like, good. Hey, start this thing. Take it off now. Get me out of here.
Get out of here. But yeah, man, that was the only time that I've ever seen Hayden. I mean, I was there when he gave his evil chat speech with him and Ian McDermott on the stage with Lucas. So I was in the audience for that. But the only time I've ever seen Hayden kind of like in the real world was at that Disney ride.
That's cool. The only time I ever saw him was when I shook his hand for like 0.25 seconds and then got screamed at. Next! That was it. That was it.
Yeah,
dude.
you had to pay like $200 for that.
200 freaking US dollars. Yeah, well, hey, it's worth it,
It's worth it. It's worth it. God bless him, dude. It's
God
worth it.
bless him, man. May he get millions more dollars to keep being in this franchise. I hope, but I wish I could one day just sit down and be like, yo, we're both from the same place, man. Represent. Mark, have you read Master and Apprentice Theory? Tell us the story why Obi-Wan doesn't like to fly. Oh, I made a video on it. You go watch the video. Give me the views, god damn it. No, okay, so
Flying
basically,
is for the droids.
basically why he hates flying is because he was in a ship and Qui-Gon was outside of the ship, and the ship starts to malfunction, starts spinning out of control, and it crashes, and then that's why he hates flying, and he was in the ship. That's the short story. Yo, Theory, why do you really, who do you really think we see Tamora Morrison play in the Mando? Could be Boba, could also be Rex. I think it's Rex, man. If we're getting Ahsoka too, it could be Rex, but then again, we could get both, Boba and Rex. Would be cool. I think the Old Republic should be canon. Yeah, you and the rest of us. Did you see the episode 4 concept drawing Funko Pops? No, I didn't. Pharaoh Arcus, new member. Thanks, man. Just want to thank you guys for helping me through some tough times lately. Since quarantine, I've binge watched Clone Wars and WoW. And you guys with your discussions and all. Really appreciate your work. Oh, thanks, man. And, yeah, I know COVID's been tough for everyone, including us, and it's you guys who are keeping us going, you know, so we appreciate you all back. I'm excited for the Obi-Wan show. It'll be great. Me too. We can't reveal our sources as we don't want them to get in trouble, but same ones that told us about Bad Batch. We talk with a few before running anything. Keep up the great work, guys. All right, Kessel Run. We hope it's true, buddy. It'll be very exciting if it is. Tom Hardy as Darth Malgus. That'd be cool. If you guys ever want to know more, feel to hit us up and we can share some more things privately. Mark? Mark?
Yeah, we might just take you up on that.
Yeah. Well, if you don't, I will. Damn. Give me some. I'll put a mask on, change my voice, and be like, my inside sources have told me that. Emperor Anakin, what up? Thanks for being a new member, man. Appreciate it, buddy. Well, Kessel Run Transmissions, I guess we're going to have to get in touch some point in time here. And, that'd be a trip if that actually happens. I'm, you know, I really hope it does, because that would be something I think everyone wants to see, you know? And I think by now they know what fans don't like and what fans do like, and what they should really start focusing on a little more, which is the story of what George built, and not just making their own stuff, you know? From scratch. Why do people hate on the prequels? Never understood. I don't know. Whiny little babies. Who knows? But that's probably what people say about the sequel trilogy, right? Okay, guys. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you all. We had fun. We had an awesome time. We will catch you next week on Rule of Two. Until then, remember, rise, my friends.
My boy.